Alrighty. State your name for the camera for me.
Anthony Wright.
What school you go to?
I go to Denby High School.
You're 15 years old, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, today we're going to do an assignment on absolute location. Do you know what GPS systems work? How GPS systems work?
Basically, you put in directions where you want to go, and they like ping it for you.
Okay, so you know how that system works, how that makes it do that?
Not really.
Okay, so that's what we're going to learn today. So you want a little bit of idea about how GPS systems work, and what would you use GPS systems for?
To get places, farther places.
Right, location. Then also it helps you with distance, how much time it's going to take for you to get there. So we're going to start with a reading assignment. So I want you to open the book up and start reading on page, I think it's page 11. And we're going to start reading you how you read out aloud for me. Yeah. Yeah. Right here where it says understanding the earth. So this is your main idea. So here, read the main idea for me.
The relationship between the earth and the sun creates our days, seasons, and climates, and influence our environment.
Okay, keep reading.
Setting the scene. The sky, Father, opened his hands within every crease. There lay
Innumerable
grains of shining maize corn in his thumb and forefinger. He took some of the shining grains and places them in the sky as brilliant stars to be a guide to the humans when the bright sun was hidden. This is part of an
ancient
method of the
Pueblos
who live in what today is the southwestern United States. They use the story to explain the appearance of the night sky.
Okay, now that's pretty much, that paragraph is setting the scene on what you're going to begin to learn. So it's like just giving you just a precursor of what you begin to learn. Okay, so go ahead to the next paragraph.
The earth, the sun, and our environment.
You skipped a word. Go back and read that again.
The earth, the sun, and our environment.
What's that?
I'm reading it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The earth, the sun, the planets, and the most of the stars we see in the night sky are part of a galaxy or a family of stars. We call our galaxy the Milky Way because the lights from the billions of stars look like a milky band across the night sky. There are other galaxies, but they are so distant that they are only specks of light. Our sun is a star in the Milky Way. The sun provides light and the energy needed for life on the earth. It affects our environment or surroundings in countless ways.
So what is the definition for environment?
Environment is like our surroundings.
Right.
And stuff we live around.
Go to the next page. No, don't worry about reading that. Yeah, read that.
Understanding days and nights. The sun may be about 93 million miles, 150 million kilometers away, but it still provides the earth with the heat and light. The earth travels around the sun in an oval-shaped path called an orbit. It takes 365 days, or just a little more.
What's the other one?
1/4?
Yes. 1/4 or a quarter?
1/4 with 365 1/4 days, or just a little more than 1 year, for the earth to complete one rotation or journey around the sun.
Go back to that word. What is that?
Revolution? What?
Revolution.
Oh, revolution. Revolution or journey around the sun.
Okay, stop there. So it says 365 1/4 days, right? So we only do 365 days per year. So how do we make up that time?
How do we make up time? Like
Yeah, we
humans?
got 1/4 for the Earth go around the whole orbit. It takes 365 1/4 of a day. So how do we make up that quarter of a day?
Mhm.
And it's funny though, actually, this book does not explain the quarter of a day, but leap year. Remember, every 4 years we have February 29th.
Yes.
So every 4 years, that's a quarter, right?
Mhm.
So 1 times 4, so every 4 years that'll make up for that 1/4. That's what that is, okay? And then go back again, revolution. So what is a revolution?
Like a complete orbit.
That's when the Earth does what?
Go around the sun.
One year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
On a journey around the sun. As the Earth
Revolves.
revolves around the sun, it is also spinning in space. The Earth turns around its axis, and the imaginary line running through its between the North and South Pole. Each complete turn, which takes about 24 hours, is called a rotation. As the Earth rotates in its daytime on the side facing the sun, and it is nighttime on the side away from the sun.
Keep going.
Understanding seasons. At certain times of the year and certain places, days are longer than nights, and at other times, nights are longer than days. This happens in parts because the Earth's axis is about an angle. At some points in the Earth's orbit, the tilt causes a
Region.
region to face towards the sun for more hours than it faces away from the sun. Days are longer. At other times, the region faces away from the sun for more than its fact towards the sun. Days are shorter. The Earth's tilt and orbits also causes changes in temperature. The warmth you feel depends on how directly the sun falls on the region in which you live. Some regions receive much further distance sunlight,
Fairly.
fairly distant sunlight, while other regions receive no direct sunlight. The amount of sunlight also partly determines how much food we produce and where people live. For example, fewer crops grow in regions that receive little direct sunlight, so fewer people live there. Regions that get more sunlight, like the United States, can grow more food to feed large populations. The effects of latitude. Imaginary lines called lines of
Okay,
latitude.
hold on a second. So now it's time for you to get very comprehensive of what you're reading now, because the stuff that you're reading now, we're gonna end up quizzing on, okay?
Alright.
So all this stuff before was just basically telling you about what? What was it mainly talking about first?
The regions, the axis on the Earth.
Okay, so that's gonna tell you this is a relationship to the next stuff that you got to begin reading now, and then now it gets more into detail. And see, does that sound like it's part of the GPS systems right now?
Not really.
Not really, but it is. See, so that means that hopefully when you finish reading this in this assignment, you have a better understanding how GPS systems work and how important absolute locations really are. Because see, y'all so used to just technology, right?
Yeah.
When you just punch in the address. So is the address an absolute location?
No.
What is it?
It's like
It's a relative location.
Yeah.
See, that's a different term for it. A lot of times students don't know the terms. Absolute location meaning that latitude, longitude degrees. Relative location is the address. And that's what we always use in relative locations. We use the absolute location, a GPS system uses that. And that's what you're going to start reading into how that system works now.
The effects of latitude. Imaginary lines called lines of latitude are east-west circles around the globe. Some of these lines of latitude have special names. They divide the earth into regions according to the amount of sunlight they receive. Look at the diagram below. The equator is a latitude line that circles the earth exactly halfway between the North Pole and the South Pole. On about March 21st and September 23rd, the sun is directly over the equator. At those times, days are almost exactly as long as nights. These days are the spring and fall equinox. Two other lines of latitude are the tropical of the center and
No, go back. Tropic of
the tropic of the
Cancer.
Cancer and the tropic of the Capricorn. On June 21st or 22nd, the sun shines directly above the tropic of Cancer. This day is the summer. Solidity.
Look at the pronunciation, see if you can pronounce it. It's right there next to it.
So, I don't think I can pronounce this.
Solstice.
Solstice in the North Hemisphere on December 21st or 22nd, the sun shines directly above the Tropic of Capricorn. This day marks the winter. Solstice in the North Hemisphere. The seasons are reversed in the Southern Hemisphere. When would the summer solstice occur there? The area between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn is called the low latitude or the tropics. Any location in there.
Go to the next page. That starts the next sentence. In location what?
Low latitudes receive direct sunlight at some time during the year in the region. It is almost always hot. Two other latitude lines set off distant regions to the north of the equator at 66 degrees
north.
66 degrees north is the Arctic Circle. To the south of the equator at 66 degrees south is the Arctic Circle. And the Arctic Circle. The regions between these circles and the pole are the high latitudes or the polar zones. The high latitudes receive no direct sunlight. It is very cool to bitterly cold there. Two areas remain the middle latitude of the north and south hemisphere or the temperature zones. At some times of the year, these areas receive fairly direct sunlight. At other times, they receive summer, winter, and fall. Each lasts about 3 months and has distinct patterns of daylight, temperature, and weather.
Okay. So basically, what this just told you went over. You remember I asked you look at the diagram below. So now look at the diagram below. So remember that rotation, 365 quarter days?
Yeah.
That's those dots going around. Okay. Here's the sun. The sun does not move. Earth moves in orbit. Okay. But also, what else does the Earth do? What's the other movement of the Earth? Turns, right? Yeah. On the axis. So it's turning on the axis and it's turning on orbit at the same time. So when you go around here once, what is that?
A year.
It's 1 year. But when the Earth is turning like that, that's what?
A day.
Right, 1 day. Okay, go to the next section.
Yes.
Yep. No. Yeah.
Setting the scene. Michael Collins, an astronaut who went to the moon, described Earth as he saw it from his spaceship in July 1969, about
200 miles.
200 miles above the Earth. The Indian Ocean flashes incredible colors of
Emerald.
jade, and
Opal.
opal in the shallow waters surrounding the Maldive Islands. Now the sun glints in unusual fashion of the ocean near Formosa, Taiwan. There are intersecting surface ripples just south of the Indian
Island.
Just south of the islands. Patterns which are clearly visible and which I think must be useful to fishermen who need to know about these currents.
Keep going.
The study of geography from his high perch, Michael Collins was looking at the world as a geographer does. Geography is the study of Earth. Geographers analyze the Earth from many points of view. They discuss how far one place is from another. They study oceans, planet life, landforms, and people. Geographers study how the Earth and its people affect each other. The themes of geography. 5 ways to look at the Earth. In their work, geographers are guided by 2 basic questions. 1, where are things located? And 2, why are they there? The answer can be organized according to 5 themes. 5 themes: location, places, human environments, interactions, movements, and regions. Location. Geographers begin a study of a place by describing its location. There, they identify the absolute location by using 2 kinds of imaginary lines around the Earth: latitude and longitude lines. Of latitude are the imaginary east-west circles and the globe. They are also called parallels because they are parallel to one another. These circles divide the globe into units called degrees. In the middle of the globe is the parallel called the equator, which is 0 latitude. Geographers measure locations north and south of the equator. The farthest latitude north of the equator is 90 degrees north. The location of the North Pole. The farthest latitude south of the equator is 90 degrees south. The location of the South Pole. Geographers also pinpoint a place from east to west. For this, they use lines of latitude or longitude. These lines, also called meridians, circle the globe from north to south. All meridians begin and end at the north and south poles. The prime meridian, which runs to Greenwich, England, is 0 longitude. Geographers describe the location as east or west of the prime meridian. The maximum longitude is 180 degrees, halfway around the world from the prime meridian.
Okay, stop there. So do you understand what you just read?
Not really, but
So now we're gonna use